Right, I'm turning on the thing. Everybody be on your best behavior.
Corey sucks.
Oh, see, now I gotta end the stream and cancel the channel.
Whee!
Right. Okay, hello everyone.
Hello, thing.
Hello and welcome to Corey Loses, where we're having our first Monday night modding in a while. So today we're going to be working on the Galactic. I'm not really going to be doing much because I can't, but I'm going to be watching Pox and Bob work on the Galactic Conquest scenario editor that we started a few months ago, and Bob has been keeping up with. Well, Pox and I were doing other things, and I was busy being incompetent. But as you can see on the screen here, there has been quite a bit that's gone on since then. We are going to load up the Imperial Civil War data file just so you guys can see that that's a thing, so you can load whatever mod you want with it. And after that, after I've shown you how impressive it is, we're gonna start actually working on stuff. So that's it. There you go, GC editor. There's also an empty forces tab now, but that doesn't do anything yet. So here you go. You can select all the planets. It'll only show the trade routes for planets you selected now. You can click on stuff on the map to select it or unselect it. It's a brave new world we've entered. Okay, closing that now though. What's step one?
Probably need to bring Pox up to speed with all the changes if he hasn't been paying attention to the commit log.
I need to get live share first.
Oh, yeah, I figured one of you guys would be the host for that. Who wants to do that?
I'll do it.
Yeah, do it. Do it.
So I think today what we're probably going to be doing is either, I think you guys said, cleaning up the code a bit, or trying to work a bit on the force selection. And I don't know.
Yeah, that's possible.
Oh, a link. I put that on stream so everyone can see it.
I mean, it might take them a little while to type it in if they, for some reason, decide that they want to try and join our live share session.
Yeah, but they could pause the stream and then do that. And they'd steal all the code. All right.
Okay.
I'm loading the thing.
Okay, so let's do a quick rundown of what I've been doing since the last commit that Pox made. We've got metafile support now, so that the code will actually pass a metafile such as trade route files or game object files to return appropriate XML file information. So it'll read those.
Okay.
It's a bit scrappy, but it does the job. We've got campaign objects, which, as you've seen, can load a campaign onto the plot. Added some useful errors. I'm just going through my commit log here. I changed the repository creator into a repository creator class, so you can create multiple repositories more easily if you want. I've added a new campaign box. Yeah, I've added a bunch of kind of refresh functions, which will update various arrays and lists as necessary when the user changes campaign or loads new data or stuff like that. I've got a template XML to save the campaign output. When you mouse over the plot, it'll tell you the planet name. You can click on a planet to select the planet. And as Corey said, it should just filter the trade routes, but that's kind of buggy right now and seems to double up the trade routes occasionally. We still don't have the full set of like campaign parameters like AI players, player settings, and that kind of thing. So that's something that I'd like to add soonish. I added a new trade route box, which you can set up a trade route. It has autocomplete, so that when you start typing a planet name for the start and end, it'll autocomplete with the planet list. And then that will also save. It will also save all the trade routes when you save the campaign. It'll save them in the same way the old one did into a new trade routes file. And yeah, I did partial support for starting forces. So there's now an extra tab called forces, which you can click on and it will show an empty box. It has a combo box which lists the current planets that are available that are selected, but it currently doesn't actually load any starting forces, nor does it display any starting forces. And that's the reason I want to move to the view model, the model view system, because that'll make it a lot easier to load stuff like that up and have it user editable. Whereas currently we're just checking boxes, which is doesn't really need that.
Okay. So oh wait, I think I'm following Corey right now.
I'm following you.
Oh.
So if you're following Bob and I'm following you, we're all together.
Okay.
That's fun and exciting.
Okay. So I think the first thing I'd like to do is
Restart a new language?
No. I think the best thing we can do is remove the need for a mod folder, so we can at least launch the whole thing without providing a mod path.
Yeah, I guess if you want.
I think that would be a good start. So Bob, where do we go for that?
Currently, there's config.py is where we load the configuration file, but basically it's going to be. So this is where the external config file is loaded. It loads the data path. So what we need to do is first we need a catch to find out if there's no data path, if the data path is empty. So we need something there, and then we want to pass that to the actual. I think it's going to be in the main in testy.py. Actually, we need to make an actual main for this. We need an actual main. We don't have an actual main, and without an actual main, that's like half the problem right now. So testy.py is fine for testing, but currently it assumes
it's basically a main, is it not?
Yeah, it is a main, but it's not a complete. It's not like a finished main. So it has the arguments which you added. So if you put an argument in, it reads the path as that argument. But if you do not put an argument in, it will try and load the data path. So the thing to do, and then it passes that path on to main window presenter, which then sets up the repository.
I mean, then let's just, for now, have a config point to the, I don't know, the project path or something, like the working directory.
That could work. Yeah, just as the basic work. Yeah, just point to the working directory, because you can return that in Python. There's a command for it. I can't remember what it is right now. It's one of the OS commands.
Okay.
CN Commander was asking, I figure this is a question that's probably relevant to most people. Can I safely assume this will mainly be a modders tool for advanced modding? And I think generally the plan is to make it as accessible and easy to use as possible, though right now it does require knowing how to set up the rest of the GC. Ultimately, you want it to be able to do everything, pretty much.
Yeah, .get CWD is what it is. I guess the current working directory. So, bam, there we go. Problem solved.
Great. Okay, we should probably find some better solution for this in the long run, but for now,
Well, I
It's
feel
gonna be
like
fine.
Unless people are going to start using it for like the main thing is that the existing like base data path in config.xml is fine. And since it's a modding tool, it's one of those things where I feel like I can just tell people to set it in config properly first. If I was being lazy about it, but yeah, doing it more properly in the future would probably be good.
Okay, so
that's that.
now I'd like to figure out how I can run this thing via live share.
I don't think we can.
Corey, can you run it?
No.
Oh.
I tried a couple times earlier.
Okay.
Yeah, because you don't have access to my terminal. Is the
Yeah.
problem? You're watching my workspace, but you don't have access to my terminal.
Yeah. I mean, usually this should work somehow, I think.
If you look,
That was...
there's the thing where there's the drop-down list in the terminal to the right. There's Python shared, and then there's Python, and then there's command shared.
Where?
Just on the bottom right of the screen when you have the terminal tab open, next to all the buttons.
Oh, okay. Python shared.
I think you might be able to use that. I can't because I have no idea what I'm doing. But
okay, so
when I tried with just Python, it was directing towards my files, but it was trying to load Anaconda and do other stuff.
Yeah, this is not gonna work. Okay. So anyway, let's face the next problem. So when we are looking for, where are you looking for the file names for the
File
XML
names are sorted in the XML reader.py.
Reader.py, okay.
Is everything set to the meta files now?
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure basically all it does is... Oh, hang on, it might not be there.
No, it's not.
Repository creator. This is where I've hard-coded things.
Oh, okay.
But the things that are hard-coded are things that the game hard-codes. So if your mod is missing these, your mod is broken anyway.
Yeah, that's fine.
You should feel bad.
I mean, we can change it so that if these files aren't found, it will put up a message saying your mod is broken, fix it. I mean, that's probably a reasonable thing to do.
Okay. Oh, okay. So here you have this game object files thing, and okay. So and where are you actually parsing or trying to find these files?
That then goes back to the XML reader class. So it looks in game object file and finds planet by looking at the top level tag.
Okay, so get list from XML root or find planet files.
Yep. So it passes the root.
Yeah.
It checks to make sure the file root has the tag planet, and if it doesn't, or if the file is listed in game object files and isn't found, then it will actually throw an error. It will say the file's not found, but continues anyway, because the majority of those files that aren't found are fine to not be found. There's like cinematic files that are left over from vanilla that don't matter.
Okay. Yeah. So, well, the thing is, I'd like to make this not
More
case
abstract.
sensitive. Not case sensitive.
For all those people working on Empire at War in Linux.
Yes, exactly.
So you. Just you.
So then that's just going to literally just do game object file.getLower.lower and just lowercase it.
We can probably skip that since I can not run it anyway from here. So on to the next thing.
Okay, well, that's how that works anyway. I feel like it's pretty straightforward and reasonably well organized.
Yeah.
I'm pretty happy about the XML reader class. It seems to do everything it needs to do. Arguably, there's some stuff that should be subclassed into like an XML Empire at War reader subclass and then the generic XML reader, because I've got this section which is Empire at War specific XML parsing, which is even more specific than the other stuff.
Yeah.
That could probably be moved into a subclass if you wanted to.
True. Okay. Do you want to do that now, or would you like?
I mean, it doesn't
something
actually.
else?
It's not really necessary. It's not like it's a nice organizational thing that doesn't really do much except put an extra dot in front of some things, probably.
I mean, the question is, can we find a common abstraction for that?
That's a good question.
So basically, if we add more game objects as we go on, we'd like to not touch anything we've written before.
Ideally,
yeah.
I'm pretty sure the methods that I've written are pretty self-contained. Like get names from XML, for example, down line 147. That one can be applied to literally any XML in the game that has a name element in it, which is pretty much every object has a name. Get start end only applies to trade routes and nothing else, and that's okay because then it does one thing and it does it well. Get location only applies to planets. Get planet and get trade route. This is where it gets a bit weird. So they're basically identical, but they throw a slightly different error message. I currently only use get planet. So if you don't find a trade route, it will tell you that it's a planet that isn't found, which is incorrect. So that can be changed, but they're identical functions otherwise. So I just couldn't be bothered basically to put an if statement in to detect whether it's a trade route or a planet. So there probably just needs to be a Boolean argument. Oh, and I guess technically they return different types, but because Python is like not hard typed anyway, it's not statically typed, it doesn't actually care whether it returns a planet or a trade route.
That's true. Where do we start?
I don't know. Have I just written this too well? Is that the problem? I think that's the problem. There's nothing for Pox to do. It's just perfect.
So where do you use get planet and get trade route?
That's used in the repository. Yeah, wait. I had a search for this open a second ago. I use it to find trade routes and planets in the repository creator. And it's also used in the main window presenter. And it's also used in the XML reader itself.
Okay. Okay, so there's the bunch of stuff we can definitely do. Like the main window presenter doesn't need to know anything about XML readers. Like this should be hidden away far down in the application core.
Okay, well, good luck with that because main window presenter does everything.
Oh, okay.
Right now. If you want a broken class which is like way overloaded with methods, that's main window presenter and probably Qt main window, though Qt main window is a little less broken.
Okay, Qt main window shouldn't do anything except display stuff.
I mean, it definitely displays stuff, but it also does some updating of displays. So
okay,
I don't feel too bad about that.
Well, the thing is, so what we've done so far is before I left was pretty much a pattern we'd call model view presenter with a passive view. So that means there's absolutely no logic in the view. And we want all our logic in the presenter. So that means our view can only deal with displaying stuff. while our presenter takes care of updating things. Like it'll only tell the view to update itself. So that means no logic in the view, and presenter knows everything about updating and what goes where, and what happens if you press a button and stuff like that.
That's mostly what I did. Like
Okay.
I've got like there's a big update widgets.
Yeah. Okay.
Which just updates every widget basically. It clears them and refreshes them, and that's been pretty helpful. However, I have then had to use some small parts of update widgets in some functions, which means that there's something wrong with the logic somewhere. That I have to, if I have to do that, that means there's something wrong with the design.
Okay.
Probably.
Huh. Okay.
I thought you loved refactoring.
Yeah, I still have to figure out where I'm gonna start.
Poor Pox. I'm sorry I've ruined everything.
I mean, it works, so you've gotten farther than I did with the last GC
I think
editor.
as of last week is when it got to everything that the old one could do. This one now does as well. But that's good.
Anything from here is uncharted territory.
Yeah. Okay. So let's see. I guess we can just go down the execution path and see what pops up.
I think that's probably a good idea. Yeah. I mean, some of the stuff is nicely compartmentalized, and some of it is definitely not. So let's go for a little walk.
Okay. So I guess I'm gonna follow you, and you'll comment as you go.
Okay. So we show up in testy.py. We load the configuration from config. Config.py, we load the config file, config.xml. This is a simple single entry XML right now, which can be used later to add lots of other configuration options if we want. Like it can save the last used campaign file, blah, 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 blah. So we load that, and if that doesn't exist, then we use, and if the person running the code puts an argument to it, then we load that as the data path instead. Then we initialize the main window. Then we create that class, and then we dump it into the main window present. So let's go down Qt main window and see what it does. When it initializes, we false out a few things. So we clear out the fact that all plants are checked. We create a window, and then it gets really long. This is just, I don't think there's any way to really compartmentalize this further without just making lots of subclasses for different regions of the screen, which you could do. But right now, first it initializes the window, then the campaign combo box and properties button. Basically, it goes from top left to bottom right. Then the campaign properties, the trade route creator. It creates a table widget factory. The table widget factory is a class which constructs a table widget.
That's fine. Can you go back to what is the trade route creator?
The trade route creator is a separate class and file, which is an entirely separate form.
It's a dialog.
Which creates, yes, it's an entirely separate dialog box, which I classed out separately. So it only knows what it needs to know about making trade routes, hopefully. And it
So
it makes a dialog box that allows you to create a trade route.
That's probably one of the first thing I'd change, because your main window doesn't need to know about this trade route creator.
Okay, so only main window presenter should know about it. Is that what you're saying?
Not even that one, probably.
But you have to know about it to be able to hit the button to open it.
Yeah, here's the thing. We'll attach a command to the button, and command can be an abstract class, and command can have an execute method, and we're just going to attach some command to a button. Main window presenter doesn't have to know what it does. When we click the button, the command is executed, and inside the command, we can show, construct, and show the trade route creator.
Okay. Now, my issue with that is that the most problems that I've been having is communicating data between classes properly and cleanly.
Yeah,
that has not really been doable.
That's the hard thing about object-oriented programming.
Like, so all that's happened is when I've wanted to transfer data between classes, I've generally just imported the class and faffed around a bit until there's a version of the class that's being passed to the function that can then be read. So, yeah, that's where it gets messy.
Yeah, and you basically solve that with more abstractions.
Do you have to, though?
Well, I can guarantee your files won't be 300 lines long anymore.
Nothing wrong with 300 lines, as long as all the lines are good lines. Anyway, yeah, so the new trade route, the new trade route function, which Corey's currently looking at, is the function which launches the dialogue when the button is clicked on. And it's basically this helper function I created to do that. So what you're saying is we should turn that into an abstract class instead.
Mm-hmm.
After you. Because I have no idea how to do that part.
Okay.
I've done it the easy but wrong way.
My favorite way to do things.
Okay, so we'll need a few things for that. So we are going to start with a let's call it a dialog factory.
I should also note the other thing there's also a campaign properties dialog box which you'll also want to do this with. So there you go.
Mm-hmm.
Conveniently enough, they're all going to be the same kind of dialogue with a bunch of text boxes, and that's about it.
Exactly. So, and let's create another file called dialogs.py. And I think I'm going to start with that one, and I'm going to create an abstract class called dialog. And
I hope everyone's learning a lot right now.
I was thinking about trying to take the VOD of that last conversation there and sell it off to a network, and maybe we get picked up for a few seasons.
Let's say this dialog has a show function. And let's see. This is gonna have, okay. And let's say cancel this one. Okay, so this is gonna be the skeleton for a dialogue. And I think what we want to do now is to extract the functionality of your trade route creator into this stuff.
The good news is that both that I was actually quite sensible and did in fact create a show dialog, OK clicked, cancel clicked methods in both the campaign properties and trade route creator classes. So they're actually pretty good classes in my opinion. They just, could be more abstract.
Okay, so you currently only have the cute trade route creator thing and no presenter type class for it, right?
That's correct. It's simply a dialog box.
Okay.
Well, it's a dialog box with an autocomplete built in, but the autocomplete can be shared across multiple dialog boxes if necessary.
Mm-hmm.
The autocompleter is very abstract.
That's good. Then okay, then let's go with that first. So we will inherit from dialog from UI.dialogs. And okay, we'll replace show dialog just with show. And we are going to change this to dialog results. And this is going to be execute and see. Okay, clicked.
I was thinking probably for the name of the trade route, I mean, we should probably have it autofill to just the start underscore end planet names, just for sanity purposes. Obviously, people can then edit it to rename it, but
Wait a second.
no, it's fine. Carry on with what you're doing.
Oh, okay.
I would like that.
And let's return. Okay. Okay, then we are going to write dialog factory.
Just going to be pumping out those dialogues.
Exactly.
Hilarious.
We make trade route creation dialog.
Hooray for autocomplete.
Hmm?
I said hooray for autocomplete when you're writing such long variable names.
Yeah.
Well, soon we'll have to go through and refactor all the variable names, so
I think you could probably do that, Corey, because that's just find and replace.
that's a rude thing to say.
I can't believe there are nearly 30 people watching us just on YouTube
Yeah, and then 11 on Twitch.
in this The Thrawn's Revenge talk show.
See, I told you you should do the modcast thing.
I don't know that there'd be enough of us around any given week to actually have that happen.
You can do it monthly.
Who watches monthly content these days? People need weekly,
Imagine
maybe
the
even daily or
excitement
hourly
for a new
content.
episode. People will be so excited.
Try and decide which bits to cut.
Okay, wait. Where was the thing? Where's the thing created in the
Qt main window? It's called.
right? Oh, okay. Yeah, that's.
So was each
That has
episode
to
just
go.
us shit talking another mod for an hour? Is that what we're gonna do?
Oh boy.
Maybe.
Episode 1, Phoenix Rising. Specifically the Phoenix Rising fighter demo from 2007, 6?
Oh yeah, definitely go with that one. Yeah. Then I don't have to feel bad.
What pox?
The fighter demo for Phoenix Rising was the proof of concept of using story events to upgrade large numbers of units. It was literally it basically just added loads and loads of X-wing style fighter stats just to fighters, and then loads of I think it was primarily based around the idea of the X-wing having ridiculous numbers of variants.
Mm-hmm.
That was just a small clip from our modcast discussing Phoenix Rising, everyone. So
yeah, if you want to hear more, please donate additional money to Corey's Patreon, earmarking it for Evilbobthebob and Pox.
That's at the $7,000 level.
Yes.
5% of the proceeds go to helping modders in need.
The saddest charity. So why are we making a command class?
Because this is the abstract thing we're gonna hide all the dialogues behind, and basically all the actions you have to hard code into the main window presenter right now. And the class keeps getting longer. In the end, what we would like to do is just say, hey, attach this command to this button, and then when the button is pressed, the main window presenter just has to execute the command instead of just knowing about all the little logic thing itself.
Seems reasonable. Though I feel the difference seems to be lines of code or numbers of files. I'm just seeing the numbers of files and tabs across the top rapidly increasing.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but then we don't have to go back to those files as much, Bob. Whereas before, we had to scroll through all those lines of code within the same file to find this stuff.
Exactly.
Wow.
Don't hurt me, Pox.
No, that was exactly correct.
Yeah, I know. That's why I said it.
Okay, so let's do show trade route creator dialog command.py.
We're putting these in different folders, right? Yes. Okay. Never mind. We're good. It's okay, Bob. It'll all be over soon.
I mean,
Sure?
I think soon is possibly being optimistic.
It'll all be over when we've all found the warm embrace of death.
As long as it still works, I don't care.
Who cares if it works as long as it's clean code?
You know, worst case, I just revert all of these changes.
No way.
Just hit the delete all changes button in GitHub. That's it. Problem solved.
You have a
Hours
second
of
repository
Pox.
that you let Pox mess around in, and then he can feel like he's doing this. You just ignore it.
Yeah, and then we have a working GC editor with some like slow performance and bugs around the edges. It's fine. And that's like every mod tool ever, right?
It works okay for TR and PR, but then the second you try to load anything else, it crashes.
Yeah.
Let's go.
I don't know if you noticed, there's also a Polish group apparently tried to make a GC editor, but it's command line based. So I think we're already.
I did that. I did that once.
A little better.
I wonder if I still have that. I made a command line based one when I was doing programming in high school. I still have
Ooh, I can only imagine what that must be like.
It was better than you'd expect, but yeah.
Well, one thing I've discovered with doing this stuff is that dialogue design is the hard part. Actually, writing the code for it is pretty easy, thankfully. So GUIs, they aren't that hard. You just have to work out how to display it. Like the current way I'm displaying, the current way that I'm going to be displaying starting forces, there was two ways I was thinking of. Either the current way, which is a drop-down combo box and a table. Pluses being that I already know how both of those things work. The alternative way is a tree. Pluses being it makes way more sense to be a hierarchical tree when you have a planet which has its own sub information, which is going to be its starting forces. So really what needs to happen is the tree format. But right now the table is probably just going to be there as a way to display existing starting forces and add up combat power and stuff. That's what I'd like it to do for balance purposes. Just add up combat power, add up like the current credit value of all the units, something like that, which then lets you say, okay, that planet has X thousand combat power worth of units, and the neighboring planet has another X thousand, and you'll know which way the AI will probably go as a result.
Okay, Bob, why do I need the presenter in here?
Because it's yes, because there is a function in the presenter on line 65 that's being used.
Oh, on new trade road. Okay, so what we are going to do is
these are the kind of meshed together things that I know were wrong as I did them, but as I did them, I was like, it's gonna fucking work. I don't care. And you know, it's a good job Pox wasn't around when I was making most of this, because I feel like he would have gotten a plane, come to the US, and endorsed the Second Amendment.
Is that what that's called now?
Wait, you're not returning a trade route from this?
No, because what it does when you hit OK, it creates a new trade route. It doesn't return the trade route. It creates the trade route in the presenter. This is why it's bad.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Like, I know it's bad, but it works. So it's just like, okay, whatever.
Yeah, trade route.
Like, there should probably be a class called Trade Route Creator, which makes a trade route.
I found it. All right. This is it. This is the real GC editor.
You should publicly release it.
I should. But let's see. Press any key to continue. Okay. Enter. Didn't continue. Enter. C worked. Enter a scenario name. No spaces. Corey scenario. Is the Empire in this GC? Yes or no? Yes. Is the in this GC? No.
This is amazing.
Are the rebels? Yes. Player faction's name, Empire. Number of planets, let's do 5. Number of trade routes, 1.
Start should be a
Faction.
planet object, probably.
Yeah. So that means we'll have a dependency to the repository, but we'll lose the dependency to the presenter, which is probably better.
I would assume so, yeah.
Oh my god, this is Croissant, Kessel.
Oh, well, you have to you have to type the planet names in. Oh my god. This is amazing.
What's another planet? I mean, I'm not going to use this GC. I don't care. Bespin.
This is the best. Does he have to type in the trade route names manually as well?
100%.
Oh, wow. Sorry, how is this faster than doing the XML?
It's not, but for people who don't know how to mod the XML files, they can. I say they can follow simple instructions, but they can't. So, but you know, you can.
Yeah, I don't even know why I ended up accidentally making those like global variables. Those the name start end. I don't know why I did them like that.
I mean, it was okay for your use case.
But now I've got to think about all the other use cases of making a new trade route.
Oh, I even have you write in the victory conditions here. Number desired good victory conditions. 2, enter number from list corresponding to desired condition. That's a good one right there. 1, enemy leader killed. 2, empire. 1, 2, special case production. This feature is only available in future versions. It's not. Enter starting credits for players' factions. 1337. Tech level. 4, 5. NPF faction 1. You have to. Oh, it doesn't even remember that. So you have to remember the order you entered it in before. This planet controlled by faction, yes. Empire. Oh my god.
Oh wow, it really does just drill down to literally everything.
Yeah, I was very thorough. What? No.
So, Pox, I think the reason I went with length, I'm not. It should be fine. Length 0 should be false.
Yeah, an empty string evaluates to false.
Okay. So my concern here is going to be that people just accidentally hit the spacebar a few times, and that counts as a non-empty string. But that's error checking for another day.
Yeah, that's true. Like we're probably gonna have to write a validate function or something like that.
There's going to be a lot of validation functions that we'll have to write. Yeah, actual assert checks. Oh god. Can't we just assume people are not stupid? And then if stupid people use it, we just have a generic error that says, "I'm sorry, you're too stupid to use this program."
And this is what that spits out. So, apparently, the locations are just memory addresses.
Have you not paid attention to your last, I don't know, 10 years as a modder?
Well, I did spend 2 days telling someone how to install the mod.
Through Steam, or?
No, sins. Yeah, just extract the file.
Sounds horrible.
Some people are not good with instructions.
Well, Corey, that was a truly remarkable trip down memory lane.
That was grade 11. I did that.
Smart kid.
Let's open up the C++ code for that.
You're just going to straight up inherit from game object repository.
It's not going to inherit. It's getting
going to access an instance.
We're giving passing it an instance of repository.
Okay. The only instance, like, this is my problem with this stuff, is like when I'm shuffling instances around, I'm thinking, is this actually the real instance that has data in it? Or is it just some random instance I've just created?
I mean, this is
Oh, right. Oh, God, yeah, because you're just passing it to the freaking...
function.
Yep, no, carry on.
The good thing this is all documented thoroughly.
Bob actually did a great job with documentation.
Thank you. I at least put comments for the like methods. I didn't like comment every line or anything, but most of them have at least a vague idea of what they do.
Now you do, yeah. Now you know what all the stuff does.
No doubt after this, I'll have to go through and document everything Pox has written.
Probably. Okay, so let's start with this. Like, you don't have return the.
Pox's code is just so beautiful; it self-documents.
Actually, that is the main idea for this stuff, but you probably still need some documentation.
Yeah, I mean, realistically, I don't think any code is truly self-documenting because it's only really self-documenting to the person who wrote it.
Yeah, that's true. Although there's this guy named Kent Beck, that's the guy who invented test-driven development. And he said, good code should read like prose.
That's ambitious.
That would be a bad story. And the little variable went to the factory and was turned into an instance of a class.
Okay.
That sounds like some sort of Marxist writing.
I mean, when you get down to it, it's there's a lot of sharing going on. You're just passing these objects around. Everybody gets a hand on it.
All class-based. People are getting sent to the factories.
Yep.
Okay, so let's have a look at our...
Maybe my degree is useful for this after all.
A criticism of...
You guys write the code, I'll get writing on the critical analysis of the themes presented here.
The game object repository is still pretty clean.
Yeah, that's true.
Still 100 lines, but there's a certain point where you just have to have lines of code.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, we can, if it gets too long, we can split it up into several repositories. Like there are...
Yeah, but then you have to communicate between them. That sounds horrible.
Yeah, no, not between the repositories.
Oh,
They're
I guess
just
it's true.
Containers for data, and the thing is, we're probably going to end up with classes that don't need all the game objects.
That's true.
So it's probably... So basically, for example, if you're thinking about starting forces, the starting forces don't need to know about the planets, not about the trade routes. It only needs the planets from the Galactic Conquest and the units.
I was going to have it so that the thing is, it depends how broad you want the application of the software to be. If we truly just want it to be a Galactic Conquest editor, then starting forces should be hierarchically located underneath. They should be a function of a planet, right? A planet should have starting forces associated with it, made up of units. Yeah. So it's the starting forces just needs to know the planets, then the planets know what units have been associated with them. So unless for some reason you want to also make a unit editor, and then I suppose you can separate some stuff out some more if you really want to go a bit wild.
Like, I don't think the starting forces themselves probably don't need to know about the planets. I
guess, because the planet knows about the starting forces, but the starting forces doesn't care what planet they're at, I guess.
But probably not even that. I'd probably say we're going to end up with a... I don't know... I'd say with a dictionary in the Galactic Conquest that says, hey, planet X has these starting forces?
I don't know. I was just thinking of setting them as properties of the planet for the purpose we're using it for is appropriate.
Not a fan of it, to be honest. Because, well, so let's say you are switching the way we are handling it right now. We are only ever getting one instance per planet, right? Like we're only having the same planet everywhere. So what are you doing if we switch GCs?
Ah, okay. You got me there. Let's carry on doing it your way then. I know when I'm wrong, and I'm wrong.
I mean, we can always just create new planet objects and
No, you're right. No, it's fine. It's fine. Let's keep it. Let's keep it separate. We should probably just create a starting instead of we should probably just create a starting forces object, I guess.
Yeah, I thought so as well. We could do that.
Then the starting force has its properties of planet, unit, number of units, faction.
True. That's a good idea. Yeah. Okay, where was I? So I wanted the planet from the repository, right? Where's
because the autocomplete function needs the planets to autocomplete. Otherwise, it can't really do much of use.
Ooh. Wait, but where do you use the auto? Okay.
Yeah, so the autocompleter needs to have the planet names passed to it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it doesn't know what to do. So you need to find a way to pass the planet names to the trade route creator dialog.
Yeah. So here's the thing. This autocompleter should probably be constructed somewhere else, not in the... This trade route creator knows way too much.
We gotta
We're gonna take it out back and...
I'm not saying we should kill him.
Okay, let's go here and...
And I would say that the autocompleter should only know about selected planets, but the user may wish to create an arbitrary trade route. So I think just allowing it to know about all planets, that's fine.
Yeah, probably, yeah. Okay, so let's go in here. Planet. Okay, and is there like a find function or first in Python?
What do you mean?
Like all planets dot first maybe, or find?
Oh, to get the name?
I'd like to find the first one with the name, yeah.
Oh, that's a bit annoying. Well, I mean, not that annoying, but I've got that somewhere. I've done it in other places.
I think there was a find thing or something, right?
Well, the thing is, planets is a set.
Yeah, okay, let's turn it into a list.
That makes it slightly more complex. Like, I understand why it's a set, but...
There was a function for that.
No, I know there is. I'm just trying to find out where I've used it before.
Clear count index? No.
Index, yeah. If you index, yeah. The problem is that it's a list of planet objects, and you have to pass a lambda function here. Okay. If you look at line 234 in main window presenter.
234. Okay, append.
So that what that does is it it turns the trade routes list, the entire trade routes list is turned into a list of strings that are just the names, and then it searches that for a matching, it returns the index of the matching string. You can't, I don't know if you can search for matching objects, but you should be able to. I just did the string comparison because that I thought that would be safest.
So get names turns it into a list of strings, right?
Yes, which should honestly be a helper function elsewhere. It shouldn't be in main window presenter.
I mean, if it's not used anywhere else so far. I'm pretty sure I've used some lambda magic thing or find or something like that. Let's Google that. Python find object in list by attribute.
I'm pretty sure index works.
Yeah, but then I have to turn the whole thing into names again first, right?
Maybe. I mean, basically, if you so the problem is that the user only puts the name in. The user doesn't enter the object. So yeah, you have to find, you have to match the name to. We just need a helper function that does this probably.
Yeah, or we can probably just do like for planet in all planets if planet dot name equals self dot start. Okay, let's def get planet by name.
This should probably be in another class.
If we need it somewhere.
I feel like I have already written this in the XML reader.
Okay.
Yeah. Def get planet finds a named planet object in a list of planet objects and returns it. But that just returns the planet object, not the index. So I guess it's slightly different.
Yeah, we'll find some some place for it. We can probably, I think this is probably a function that could be added to the repository itself. Like get planet
Probably. It would make sense. Searching the repository seems like something the repository should be able to do.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, so let's just move it there immediately. Game object repository. Yeah. Let's put that planet part here. Get planet by name.
Since every object has a name, maybe we should just be get object by name.
Well, but then we don't know what to search.
Fair.
Huh?
No, I mean, that's fair. That's it. Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
I guess it depends if you want lots of little functions or one giant horrible function.
Okay, this is probably right?
Yeah,
We
that
should
seems reasonable. Let me actually put
probably
in the.
only-
There, so it'll actually
Yeah.
tell people. So then they'll be like, oh crap, where'd that planet go?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
The next step would be add a planet creator, so that when there's no planet, it's like, do you want to create a new planet?
Yeah, exactly.
And then eventually the software does literally everything. It just runs the game.
I mean,
And
isn't that kind of the goal, that we want to create like a tool that not only does maybe trade routes, but well, I'd like to do a planet creator that you can
yeah, that
just
would be
place
nice.
on the.
I mean, the one that makes most sense to actually include in this would be Planet Creator, but I don't know that anything else would really need to be in here, like Unit Creator.
Yeah, that might be going a little far.
Yeah, unit creator. I mean, the only thing you can really do there is just have a bunch of, I don't know, Excel.
It would just be a
cells
giant.
or-
Yeah, it'd just be a giant form,
Yeah.
which wouldn't be much harder than. It wouldn't be much more efficient.
I mean, it can probably do some validation stuff or something, and maybe link some stuff together that you'd have to do manually otherwise. But other than that, hmm. Okay. Next thing. So here's where we do our first validation thing, I guess. We can add another function to the repository that queries if a planet exists.
It's funny to hear you bashing the keyboard and then slowly watch it appear because of latency.
The bashing is Corey.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
that was
Corey.
me. It's quiet bashing.
Um, okay, let's go back here. So the reason why I want to do some validation stuff right now is because we decided to actually throw a runtime error when we are searching for a non-existent planet, and we should. This is wrong. This assumes this is not true. Raising error. So we're doing this
Yay! Try and catch. Woo!
by name. Yeah, but this is inside this repository. So this may be okay. I'm not sure I like it, but so there's this there's this trend in the well, among developers that you actually don't want to return null anymore, or none in Python's case, because null or none is basically the most of the time the reasons for any kind of error.
Right.
So if you just throw an exception right at the beginning, this is it makes it way more obvious that there is an error. So, and we can just exist.
Yeah, this solves the if they enter spaces problem.
Okay, and oh, this is self.repository. I hate this self and then the underscore thing in Python. It's horrible.
It does make the lines somewhat long.
Yeah, and super unreadable.
Why is that even a thing?
It separates global and local, public and private
Yeah.
variables in the class. So private variable or private method has the underscores. And it automatically, I think you can define them in other ways. You can use decorators, I think. But
Ooh, okay. That
possibly.
would be nice.
Yeah, you can use at class method, for example, at static method, stuff like that.
Yeah, but static method is...
Yeah, that's a different kind of thing, I know.
Yeah, but what does class method do? Oh, look, we're switching it.
With a class method, the class of the object instance is implicitly passed as the first argument instead of self.
Oh, this is... Wait, the class, not the...
The class of the object instance is implicitly passed as the first argument instead of self.
Okay, so you're not having access to instance variables.
Yeah, it's a bit weird.
Yeah, this is basically a static method then, more or less.
Kind of. If you want, you can create your own decorators.
Okay, this is nice. Okay. Okay, where do we go next? So we have the repository here. Okay, now we go into the dialog factory. Now we need dev init, self, and game object repository.
Bless you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, from game object import. Oh, self. Sorry. Wait, why is it complaining that there's no module Qt trade route creator in module UI?
Because the queue, the pylint is busted when it comes to sub modules.
Oh,
Like it
okay.
complains there's no Q menu bar in pyqt5.qt widgets. Basically, if you if you do a from x.y, it'll complain that the Z isn't in Y.
Ah, okay. Yeah, that's probably why I switched to Flake 8.
I don't really care because I don't pay much attention to Pylint most of the time.
Yeah, okay.
I care about it if it throws an error saying import module not found, then I'll fix it, but otherwise I don't care.
Yeah, okay.
There's literally just like a couple of syntax catches that it gets, which are fine, but the no name stuff is dumb. Basically, fix your shit, Microsoft, as usual.
Is Pylint from Microsoft?
The Pylint in here, I assume it's partly due to the way it's being hooked up into VS Code, because I assume Pylint works. It should work fine with submodules.
Okay.
Should. I don't know. I haven't used Pylint. I just use Spider usually. In the scientific, which is the scientific Python development environment, which its main bonuses are it has inline documentation options that will display full documentation for a function. Instead of on mouse over, you get the full thing with examples and so on.
Okay.
So I guess once you've written this and we've finished, because presumably we're not going to be doing this the whole time, or we won't finish all of this, I can work on changing the campaign creator over to the same format.
Uh-huh.
Are we going to test if this has broken everything at some point?
Oh,
I mean, I will test it once.
It shouldn't have. Like, we only extract stuff as we go along. So,
Haven't you worked on EAW long enough to know that shouldn't have is never a word you say with any kind of development?
Luckily, this is not EAW.
It's
so...
not, but it's still something
It has some
on a
very
computer.
slight EAW dependencies.
Somehow Alliance still makes this crash.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if our GC editor validation will throw up a lot of errors with some mods. Once we actually get validation in here, there will probably be a lot of errors of people being like, that's why my GC doesn't load.
Or they'll think that the editor's broken instead of their mod.
That's possible.
Yeah. That's probably what some people will say.
That's fine. Then all we can do is have a big disclaimer saying we provide no support. And if anyone asks us, we'll tell them to go suck it. And that's on video now. So in the future, anybody who's interested in support for this tool, read the source code.
Make your own.
Exactly.
We need to make everything even more abstract so it can load the galaxy scenario def from Sins of Solar Empire, and also basically any game that has a galaxy map we can edit.
That would be a little far.
What? I'm pretty sure like the Sins way of doing it would be totally fine if we
suppose
separate the dependencies enough.
I guess you'd have to change the reader format and so on, but yeah, I suppose you could set it up for different games if you
just have a file reader that's abstract, and depending on what game you want to modify, you would pass in a different one. And I mean, planets and trade routes are pretty much similar in Sins, I guess.
Yeah, but Sins already comes with an editor, so it's fine. They're all defined within the GC file. Like all the planets and the trade routes they only exist within that map.
Interesting. Oh, right, because they're randomized usually, right?
Yeah.
So So then you probably want to call the main window presenter adding a new trade route function.
Yeah. go back. There we go. And
So yeah, I could do the same thing with the campaign pretty easily. I would like to, with the creating new campaigns and campaign properties, I'd like to add more useful properties to campaigns, like the AI players, all that kind of thing. But the problem with all that stuff is it has its own like dependencies on the faction and blech.
And on new trade route.
Now you can just pass it the trade route object, and that will be easier.
Yeah.
Just rewrite the presenter function.
And first we are going from game object trade route import trade route. Okay, and on trade route, what is that doing?
So then you just get rid of it, and just that should be super easy now. It should just be adding append it to the repository, append it to the new trade route list, and then are you just going to rewrite the function?
Yeah, I'll just copy the parts I need, and then no need to break the existing one.
Okay. Well, we won't be using the existing one now, I guess is the problem.
Yeah, I'll delete it after I copied what I need.
Okay.
So what's that? Get started and end? No, that's.
So you don't need to do that anymore.
Yeah, repository add trade route. Okay, we can do that, but you know, I want to do that in the command actually. This is not something the main window presenter should have to worry about, I think. Okay, okay, so let's take this new trade routes append. I need this, right?
Yeah,
New
that one is, there's a specific new trade routes variable, which is a list in the presenter, which that's what's used to output the new trade routes into a single XML file at the end.
Okay.
So that then you can copy them into like in the future, I'd like it so it would either edit existing XML files or pop the XML files into the actual mod folder. But for now, it just outputs it in the same directory as the Python script. And this it automatically adds it to the checked trade route list.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea. So what this for?
And then this is where it goes circular a bit. So then it creates a list of selected trade routes and sends that to the main window, because the main window needs to update its trade route selection as well.
Yeah, that's.
And that uses a list of names instead of
update widgets for then?
What's that?
What's update widgets for then?
That's so probably what needs to happen is that the update trade route selection needs to go inside update widgets.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, let's kind of do that. Where's update widget? There we go.
Update widgets is like way at the bottom because it's used everywhere.
And so what are you doing? Select main window, update trade route selection.
So it just gets this. It gets the names of the existing checked trade routes, just the names.
Okay, do you have a list of the selected ones somewhere in here as an attribute or something?
Not right now. No, yeah. No.
Okay.
I don't have a list of them. We have a set of them.
Yeah, well, that's great as well. So, but we have check trade routes as a set. Okay. So self dot check trade routes. Is that it?
Not exactly, because that's a set of trade route objects, and instead it needs to be a list of trade route names.
Okay. Can I use the filter function to get a list of names?
You should just be able to use list.get self.get names in the same way that update planet com. So I don't know why. Like basically, I made this update widgets function after I made the new trade route thing. So I just didn't migrate everything into it that I should have. If you look at the main window.update planet combo box call, it should just be identical to that, and that should work. It probably won't. Also, it needs to be before plot galaxy.
Oh, okay.
Because the galaxy is plotted based on the checked trade routes.
But this is just for the widgets, right? You're not depending on what is actually checked in the window, right?
No. At least the stuff that's checked in the window is updated.
Yeah, I mean, but it shouldn't really matter, right? Where I do it, like.
But yeah, but I mean, oh right, yeah, no, you're right. It doesn't matter if it's before or after the plot galaxy because we're not changing the number of checked trade routes.
Anyway, I'm just gonna do that.
Yeah, that's fine.
So what else? Update. We did this. Campaigns.
So this adds. So on the currently selected campaign, adds the new trade route. So it basically checks the trade route and adds it to the campaign under the assumption that the user probably wants to do that. And now, obviously, you don't need to update the plot because the plot is being updated in the update widgets command.
Okay, just do this, and then I can delete the old function, right? Right.
That should be fine. Then just put update widgets after checked trade routes is updated.
Great.
And that should do it.
Why old long function?
That it was like one of the first things I did when I made the trade route editor, because I was like, the trade route editor is pretty important.
Yeah.
So I can probably go through and do a lot of similar things with the update widgets.
Okay, so what needs to happen now is that we kind of wire the I think we have all the necessary stuff for the trade route creator.
Okay.
I guess what we need to do now is wire all the things together.
Ah, the fun part where you get to laugh maniacally. It's alive.
Okay, let's see. So cute main window, blah. Where is it? So many files. Okay,
well, whose fault is that, Pox?
All coming full circle.
Okay, so let's go into the presenter first. Main window presenter, and first we're going to fix all these class names. Great. And then why is it complaining?
Because again, it's the sub. It's just Pylint being dumb.
Oh, okay. But why is it not complaining?
When then I guess let me just go have a look at the XML reader and XML writer. Because it's all capitals. It's XML is all capitals.
Oh, okay.
Because XML is it's an extensible markup language. It's an acronym or whatever. Initialism. Almost an initial. Okay. It's great. An initialism so except for the first letter. Yeah, EML isn't quite so fancy sounding.
Okay, let's create a Okay, let's just create a public property on this, or public attribute, and call it
Pox creating a public attribute.
Trade route command. Yeah, this is going to change later. None. And let's say now we're going to go into the main window, and we are going to replace all of this with self.presenter dot create trade route. What did I call it? New trade route command. Dot execute.
You called the class show trade route creator dialog
Yeah,
command.
but the thing in the main window presenter.
Oh, right, yeah.
This is just an. Yeah, okay. I copy pasted it. The same. So now we are going to testy.py, and we are going to create a whole bunch of classes, or rather objects. And let's go first with the Dialog factory. Dialog factory, and we need a repository first. Where do I get my repository? Where are you creating the repository?
In the main window presenter.
Oh no. And
it's okay, you can move that out pretty easily.
Yeah, okay, so let's see.
So it's up there, and then it's on line 95 as well.
Mm-hmm.
I knew this would cause Pox pain.
Let's go here. Okay, what's the path?
That's the thing that's defined by the config.
Oh, okay.
So or it's defined by... Yeah, it's already in testy.
Great. Okay, then let's go from repository creator.
Just need to import dialog.
Why do you need to pass in the path into the constructor and then again into construct repository?
That is a good question. It's probably an old unused variable.
I'd say we move it out of the constructor and just leave it in the construct repository function. And we need a presenter. Right? We needed a presenter for that. Yeah, we do. Testy, where's testy? Okay. Dialog factory. Oh, this needs to go before this. Why is it complaining about the... Oh, okay, this needs to go, and... I guess we don't need path anymore in the main window. presenter? Do we?
Shouldn't do. Shouldn't need it now.
Okay.
Oh, I know why I had the repository in the main window presenter, because you have to clear the repository when you change the data folder.
Yeah, we'll pass in the repository. That's no problem.
But we shouldn't make it in there, I guess.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
And why do we need an XML writer and reader in here?
Because the file save and load commands, I think. Actually, that might just be leftover. That might just be craft.
Okay.
I'll check that.
And that's why we need the path in here, right? Or is path anywhere?
Again, it might just be craft.
Yeah, it's not used anywhere. Okay. Goodbye, path. And this. Oh, this is used somewhere.
Yeah, so when you save the file.
Yeah, okay. So we'll leave it for now. This can all be commands at some points. Anyway, let's go back to Testy. Dialog factory and need the repository. Just the repository. Why is it? Oh, I haven't imported it yet. Dialog factory import dialog factory.
Right. So the other reason that main window presenter needs the repository creator is that it has to rebuild the repository.
Why?
As well. Because when you change data folder, the repository has to be built. And that happens to be in main window presenter right now.
Yeah, okay. This can you even do that right now?
I mean, I can just import. Yeah, I'll just set it up to continue to import the repository creator. It doesn't really make much difference.
No, I mean, can you even switch the data folder right now? Is that already in?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you can just hit file, set data folder, and pick whatever data folder you want. Corey demonstrated it at the start of the video.
Yeah, I don't watch the video. I'm in the code thing.
Well, he also said it, but yeah, basically you can choose a data folder, and there's a function called onDataFolderChanged, which is line 102 in the main window presenter, and that will empty the repository and reconstruct it. Sometimes I do know what I'm doing. It might not be the cleanest way, but it worked.
That's how I organize my clothes.
In a factory?
No. I hang them wherever they'll be most easily accessible. Not the cleanest way, but it works. Like how my exercise bike is mostly just a coat
Yeah.
hanger now.
Oh, I dropped out. Hello?
Hello,
For the
you're
Visual
here?
Studio?
Oh, okay. No, my Discord crashed for some reason apparently.
Oh.
That's annoying.
So you can try it, I think.
Okay, if it breaks, it's on you.
Yeah, but it probably will.
Here we go. First things first. Invalid syntax.
Where?
Missed an and.
Oh.
Line 89 in the Qt trade route creator, but I just fixed it. So onward. Okay. The trade route creator is missing one required positional argument repository.
Oh, okay. Let's see.
That's because the trade route creator is still being called in the main window.
Ah, okay, yeah. That can go away.
And it loads.
Oh my god.
Nice.
Okay, new trade route crashes when I hit the new trade route button. Dialog.show is missing one required positional argument presenter. In show trade creator dialog command, line 16.
This is because you have. Wait. We will go to Qt trade route creator and remove the presenter argument because we don't need it anymore.
Okay, can I try again?
Set up autocomplete. Wait, no, set up autocomplete is complaining.
Oh yeah, it will do.
Can we disable the autocomplete for now?
Yeah, just comment that out and it just won't run. It's fine.
Oh, okay, that's great.
Because the text files don't, the autocomplete doesn't get connected. It gets connected to them by the autocompleter. It doesn't, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, it loads. That's a good start. New trade route dialog has popped up.
Hey.
Woo.
When you say it loads, did it load a GC?
Yes. Well, okay. I just
stuff?
created a new trade route. Yeah, I just created a new trade route and it crashed. Show trade route dialog command. So line 20 in add trade route. Show trade route creator dialog command object has no attribute. Show trade route dialog command repository.
Oh, right. I forgot to add it. Okay. Okay.
Are you actually passing? You are passing the repository to it, right?
Yeah, we have to do that in the main, in our testy main thing. Where is it? Repository. Okay.
So just to be sure, if the repository is rebuilt, will that affect all of the repositories, including the one in the trade route commander?
No. So I think, I mean, if you call this, are you creating if you switch data folders, are you creating a new repository or are you just emptying the current one?
It empties the existing one and rebuilds it for memory conservation purposes because the game can get heavy.
The object stays the same.
Yes. It
I'm
just
not
gets
writing.
emptied and refilled.
Yeah, then everything is fine.
Okay, cool. Okay, so it loads. It loads a GC. Creating a trade route from Alderaan to Castle. And it crashes again.
Ooh.
Aha, here we go. And so now this is stuff in my stuff that's crashing, which is fine because it's probably just means that the ways that I've been doing it is probably wrong. So the note that crash is that in the update trade route selection function in Qt main window, argument 1 has unexpected type string. Basically, yeah, it's sending. That's weird. I feel like it should be fine with a string.
Which function is it?
This is
wait,
update. It's line 188 in Qt main window. So when it updates the widgets, okay, this is why I had to mess around with the update trade route selection. Because if you just get the names of the checked trade routes, it doesn't like you need the index of the checked trade routes in the list.
Ah, okay. So where's main window presenter? Let's go in there.
It's being called in line 268.
268. Update trade route. Okay.
Because it needs to know the index of the planet of the trade route, not the name of the trade route.
So all the indexes? Is it a list?
Yeah, it should be an integer list of indexes.
Okay.
Sorted by name. So basically it should probably be it should do the same thing as you see the stuff at line 254. It should probably just be the same as that.
250 sorted.
So that sorts a list of trade routes by name.
Yeah, but
that's the Lambda stuff.
Yeah,
but instead of the repository trade routes, we just do the checked trade routes and sort the checked trade routes by name. I think
that doesn't give you the.
No, it doesn't give you the index now.
No.
Let me go look at what we deleted.
That's probably the selected trade route part stuff.
Yes, that's why I did that.
Trade route in. How do we even pronounce this in English? The plural of index.
Indices.
Indices, okay.
Yeah, then it was this horrible thing that I had to do.
Wait, what is indexes? It's showing me an autocomplete thing that says indexes.
I believe that's if you have multiple, if you expect multiple of the same, possibly.
Oh.
I don't know why it's auto-completed the indexes. I just searched for it and there's no.
Okay.
That should work. Okay, then.
Can we extract method?
If you want.
Oh, yeah.
What's the F? That F supposed to be there?
That what?
In this thing? That F at the end.
No, it's not. It's not meant to be. It's not meant to be there. Don't worry, Corey. You can contribute and delete that. I have to be right back.
Okay.
I wasn't sure if it was some next level programming trick that I wasn't aware of or just a typo.
No. So Bob is gone now.
He did say be right back.
Yeah, but now we can't run
Now
it.
we can't test it.
Bob, no! Who allowed you to leave? So, what else is new? How's the cockroach situation?
I haven't seen one in a while, but my roommate said he did see one, so they're plotting and regrouping, I guess. Gotta make sure the light's always on.
I hate those things. Luckily, we don't have them in Germany, usually.
You've got to have some kind of cockroach.
Yeah, we do, but they are really not common. Like, I have never had one in my house or apartment.
This place is the first one where I've ever had one, or had several. All my previous apartments were nice and clean.
Several in your face.
Yeah, almost in my mouth.
Yeah. I was on Tenerife a few weeks ago, vacation, and there was like a little hole in the wall in the bathroom, and basically had a few every morning.
That's nice.
So I'm back, so I'm going to test again.
Okay.
I can see that.
We were talking about cockroaches while you were gone.
Oh boy, it crashed again.
Oh no.
At what point?
The same point, but now it's saying that none type object has no attribute set check state.
God damn it.
Progress.
So it's literally identical place where it crashed.
But why is there a none type? Oh, because it's probably trying to retrieve an index that doesn't exist or something? I don't know.
I think that's why I went to names instead of objects. With objects, it seems to have trouble sometimes. I don't know why, because it shouldn't.
Yeah, no, it shouldn't. That like there has to be an error somewhere. So wait, update trade route selection for T and trade route. So that's an index you get there.
You can see my terminal result, right?
Yeah, I can.
Okay, cool. So you can see.
So basically, what happens is that there's no item for that index.
I guess.
Yeah. But I mean, if it worked before, I'm probably returning the wrong indices.
Before I did
main window presenter.
Before I did self.getName, self.traderoutes.index, traderoute.name. So it's like I compared the strings because I was getting these errors as well.
The trade route contains the names?
It's a list, yeah.
List of names.
I think, yeah.
Okay, you think.
It shouldn't be, because judging by how... I don't think it is. but
Like, okay, so I mean, it says at the beginning that it's a list of trade routes and not of names, but who knows what you did?
no. Okay, now it is indeed complaining. And that's saying test is not in list. So the new trade route test is the name of the trade route I just created.
Okay. Test is not in list.
So I think what that means is that there's no string test in the list, which means that it's not it's comparing a name to a trade route object instead. Give me a sec. I'm going to do this the brute force way.
Wait, so this is probably because we didn't add this thing to the... Oh, god damn it. So... Yeah. Okay, we're going to show trade road, blah. Okay. No, wait.
We definitely add it to the full list of trade routes.
The question is, did we do it before?
I guess.
Before the searching thing.
Yeah, because we we add it to new trade routes. We add it to checked trade routes. We add it to the campaign trade routes, but I don't think we add it to the overall trade routes.
Okay, then we should probably do that.
Which I guess I wasn't doing either, which is probably why there were issues before with duplication and stuff. Because there should never be duplication in a set.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, the set will actively prevent you from... Like, it won't prevent you, but it just won't add the new thing if it's already in there.
Okay, so now I'm adding it to both the checked trade routes and the trade routes.
Okay. Sounds right.
This is so exciting. I'm gonna see if it works again. And just think, after these 2 hours, we'll be ideally right back where we started.
Okay.
Yeah, but, I mean, we're starting to get a better structure and...
Okay, no, it's being added to the repository, so I don't need to add it to trade routes because that's created from the repository, and the trade route is added to the repository.
Yeah, and there's... I mean, your error says the list object has no attribute add, so...
Yeah. Yeah, it should... Okay, because when we create a new trade route, we add it to the repository.
Yeah.
So that's done. So in main window presenter, when you update the widgets, it recreates the trade routes list from the repository set. So the trade routes list created from the repository set is complete. It contains the new trade route. That means that for some reason it's not being matched properly and returning not. Let me just try and do it the way I did it before.
No, wait. What are you saying? Like, there's the problem. The problem here, the reason it crashed, is because you're calling add on a list instead of append.
No, I know, but that doesn't matter.
Okay. Whatever.
I'm looking at the big picture here.
So wait. This is test is not in it. Yeah, now you probably have to delete the .name at the end of trader. Like, this needs to go. So okay.
Check trade routes isn't a list of names though.
Wait, what? I'm
Give me a sec.
Sure this is where we started.
Okay, we're back to none type now.
Yeah.
So
I told you this is where we started.
So I can try it. Like, the thing is, the new trade route should be in the repository, right?
Yeah, it is.
Because it's added to the repository. Now, on line 254 in update widgets,
Yeah.
The trade routes list is recreated from the repository.
Yeah, okay.
So the trade routes list should contain the new trade route.
Yep.
So why is it still returning a none type? Because everything is there.
Well, the thing is that the none type is not in the trade routes list. Is in the list that is in the view, in the table widget. This is where the none type is returned. At when you call item. Is there some place you? I mean, okay, no, you updated available trade routes there, right? Okay.
Yes. So just printing it, there's a none type and then there's an actual index. So for some reason, there's a none type being returned every time.
By item. By the trade route list widget dot item call. Not something we're doing in here. Like there has to be something missing with the updating of the table widget.
Okay.
Otherwise, I don't see how that could
No,
happen.
it's because, so what's happening is we have a list, right? One list is empty and one list is the right number. For some reason, it's returning two lists.
What?
When I printed selected trade routes indices. When I printed it, it returned two lists. One list was empty, and the other list contained the number 314, which is the index of the new trade route. I don't know why, but it's returning an empty list and then a proper list. That's what that print is showing. So when it tries to get round to it in the trade route list widget item, it tries to select an empty. It tries to select an empty entry in the table, and the table entry doesn't exist.
Where are you doing the printing? Where did you do that?
If you just look in the output in the terminal.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw that.
I printed it before the return on line 277. That's where I did the print. I just deleted it just now because I got what I.
Are you sure that it wasn't?
Out of it.
I'm pretty sure you printed it in the for loop. That's why you have
maybe
the first thing and then the
second. Okay, it's outside the it's outside the for loop now, right?
Yeah.
Okay, try it again. Same thing. Maybe? No, yep, same thing.
Okay. Weird. So this is called. Oh, I know why it's called twice. You probably call update widgets at some point before that, right? Like on
yes.
New campaign and on
there's a double
chain.
there's a double call somewhere that's doing
this. Even in the constructor you call update widgets, which is probably correct, basically, since you probably want to,
refresh them. Yeah. Okay, time to look at every call to update widgets. It's called on new trade route, on new campaign, on data folder changed, at init.
Yeah, I mean it's definitely in the probably the first call to it in the constructor, because there's no, I don't know, there's probably no selected trade routes or something.
Yes. Yeah, so there's when you first call it, there's no selected trade route. Yeah, there are no trade routes because the first campaign it loads an empty thing basically.
Yeah.
So so that's probably what's doing it. So I guess I can just do an if none check, or add a boolean for first time, or.
Wait, let me have a look at update widgets again. I mean, but update widgets collects all the trade routes and stuff like that.
Yes, but if there are none selected, then checked trade routes is empty, and so it compares an empty.
But why? What does it matter if?
Because it won't return any index, so it returns a null index. So when it tries to select the selected trade route, when it tries to update the trade route selection, the combo box, there's nothing to tick because it's trying to tick a none entry.
Yeah, but if you pass in an empty list, it won't even go into the for loop.
Yeah, so it just returns an empty selected trade route.
No, you don't even get into the item call if the trade routes list is empty.
Right, because I'm pretty sure I made it. Yeah. So why the hell is it doing that?
Yeah, I don't know.
Because if the list is empty,
is it maybe in uncheck all table or something? No.
Oh, that's possible actually. Uncheck all table.
So for row in range row.
But no, when I control, it says line 193. It's like that's where it's saying that none type object has no attributes to that check state. It's 193 and nowhere else.
But why?
I don't know.
Then it's probably. So that rules out the constructor call because there are no selected trade routes.
Correct.
Why don't we just print out the names of the selected trade routes when it crashes or something? Oh god.
I'm just going to print the trade routes that gets passed to it.
Yeah. But not the indices.
Well, it doesn't really make much difference.
But
I mean, if I try and make a new trade route with no trade routes selected.
Yeah. Then it can only be that.
Okay, it still prints 314. I think it must be that index is not being added to the list in time. So the list widget is not being updated in time.
I mean,
so the list widget doesn't have.
There's no multi-processing going on here, so.
Yeah.
No.
So the list.
This should happen somewhere. Like maybe you forgot to add it to the list. But
yes, it's quite possible.
This is not the thing is not added in time. No, that's not the issue. So add trade routes. I mean, but you
that adds them. That adds all of them. That adds all available trade routes is the problem.
Okay.
And the trade route the user creates isn't necessarily available, because available is slightly different. Like that's based on current planets.
Okay.
Which was fine initially, but probably needs to be refactored completely to make way more sense.
I mean, yeah, I mean the functionality is correct, right? You only want to show the trade route that can be connected with the currently selected planets.
But what we're trying to do is force check. We're forcing it to check the new trade route, even if it's not available, and that's where the problem comes in, I think. Because just because it's been created doesn't make it available.
That's right.
Debugging is fun. So probably what we want to do is force it to add in the new trade route to the available trade routes, right? Just regardless, just add it on the end or something.
No, we don't. I think we don't. So
maybe we just don't force check the new trade route.
Yeah, exactly. We only force check it if the planets are selected.
Yeah.
This is what we're gonna do. So, update trade route selection. Where is that? What does it do? Oh no, that's in the.
That's the one that's crashing right now.
Yeah. Okay. So what? Update available trade routes? No.
Yeah. So that's
What's no? Yeah. Wait. Where are you setting the selected trade routes or something like?
that's the checked trade routes.
Okay. Where are we adding it to the checked trade routes?
In the on new trade route. So line 215 of main window presenter.
On trade routing, on new campaign, on new trade route. Okay. And okay, so we change it to if trade route dot start in self dot check planet check planet and trade route dot end in self dot
Or I'd go for or.
no.
We don't need the start and end to be there, just at least one of the planets.
This is your criteria for adding it. Like
This is not
you
actually my criteria.
should-
I have it or, not and. I have it set so
Okay.
that you can have a central planet and basically you can see all of the trade routes coming off that one planet.
Okay.
That may be why there are duplications happening, but we'll see. Okay, this might work now.
Yeah, okay.
It made it.
Yay!
Okay, now do it with a planet that's checked.
It shows up
Woo!
twice, but it shows up.
It shows up twice?
Yeah. So basically, because of the way the I think the or is the problem because you can have start or end. I think it doubles up. It doubles itself up in available trade routes because all of this stuff gets turned into lists all the time instead of sets is the problem. So there's duplication chances, and I need to rewrite that so it's less broken.
Yeah, but you should probably rewrite in a way that doesn't necessarily require a set.
Ideally.
Yeah.
Because sets are kind of annoying to work with.
Yeah,
but
I mean,
works. It works
yeah,
now.
they're great for looking things up and stuff like that, but
Okay. So now it works. What I'd like to do is get the auto completion back in because that's really useful.
yeah, okay. So let's have a look at that. We're going to queue trade route creator with the autocomplete. Set up autocompleter.
Yeah, so the issue is that currently it uses the name, it needs a list of planet names.
You only want the available planet names?
Probably.
Oh, or what does presenter.planet names return?
The entire full list of planet names that are available. And it gets updated every time. And the reason
what's in the repository.
Yes. The reason I do that is that the user may wish to create a trade route independent of the planets they have selected at the current moment.
Yeah, okay.
And I think that's reasonable.
Fine. But then we can just replace this stuff with self.repository.planets. And
it just needs to be a list of names instead of objects.
So,
and this is why get names needs to be like a just a general use function. Yeah. Unless we can change it so that the maybe it should just be a repository function that returns the names of everything in that given category, right? That seems like a more useful. So it'd be like .planets.getNames.
Wait, .planets.getNames?
Yeah, so we'd have a repository which has planets. Or maybe it doesn't have to be a dot, but or repository.getNames planets, something like that. So there's a function in the repository that returns the names of objects in the repository.
Let's just call it get planet names. Where's the original function that we want to remove in the main window presenter, right? Get names. Okay, let's move it.
Would it be easier if we just put all of this into main window presenter, like everything? And we only have to be in one file?
Shut up.
Sorry, I had to disappear for a sec there, and in fact, I'm going to have to leave now. But it was fun.
You need to.
I need to test.
Yeah, you need to test this.
Well, what I can do is I can just commit it all. I'll just commit it all to Git just now, and then you guys can start again with the live share in a moment after I've gone.
All right, I think we'll end the stream there, and then if me and Pox just keep going, and by me and Pox, I mean I'll watch Pox. But because it's been about 2 hours for the stream, so yeah, thanks for watching, everyone. I'm gonna try to do this every Monday again, and it'll be a regular thing. But until the next stream, goodbye.
Goodbye.
Adios.